Hello and welcome to Ms. Cooper's art class. Today I'm going to tell you about how I make my videos and go behind the scenes a little bit. This is partially because this is a common question I get, and also in celebration of having over 2,000 subscribers now. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I'd like to encourage anybody interested to make their own videos because I think you learn a lot about your process that way, and it is really fun to share with other people. You don't necessarily need a lot of really fancy technology, so I'll show you first how I got started making my videos. I started by using an iPad on a locker shelf. I didn't really know that I was going to get super into YouTube when I first started, so I used an old, kind of beat up locker shelf and an iPad that the school provided me with, and I liked it because it could actually zoom in really far, just naturally, and a lot of light was allowed in when I used it, which was great because lighting is very important for making these tutorials. So I showed you my hand so you can see it zoomed in, and it was actually pretty comfortable navigating around the bars. If I needed to raise it, that was the only difficulty. What's nice is now I have an arm to work with. So this is nice because it can swivel really well and I can move it up and down pretty easily, and it gives me plenty of space for my arm underneath. That combined with a new phone with a better camera and some better zooming features has really made a big difference. But these arms don't have to be super expensive. I do have a tripod, I just don't use it all the time. When I first get started, I usually have to make a couple adjustments with the placement, with my camera settings, and with the lighting. You can see I'm recording here in my classroom, which is where I record almost all of my footage just because the lighting in there is pretty good and I'm kind of already in work mode. I just stay after work and do it. I don't really do them during the day. I just do it in the late afternoon, and I think that's usually when I'm ready to draw. I make a lot of them for my students, but sometimes I make them just for fun. When I first get started, I actually talk along with my videos, which you can't hear right now because I take the sound off. This helps me to get an idea of how long I need for my intro to make sure I don't start drawing too early so I have the right footage. While I do this, I also walk through what I'm going to do, and I hold up my supplies so people know what supplies to have, since that's a common question. This also is usually when I have to stop and start over because at this point I usually realize that I've forgotten something. Today I was really on target when I was filming this video, so I didn't really run into that issue. This is a simple video that I'm filming here, and it's about how to practice stippling, so it didn't require a whole lot of tools. Throughout the video, I sometimes talk, but you can see I'm talking a little bit less at this point, and from here, I'll speed it up a little bit. From there, it's a bit of camera adjustments and lighting adjustments every once in a while, and I just keep going. Sometimes I'll talk out loud if I'm really trying to figure out how I want to phrase something, but I never do write a voiceover script. I just kind of talk through it once all the footage is done. I use my work time to come up with some ideas for what I want to say, or some main points, or some questions people might have, but I never really write it out or plan it in much detail. During this time, sometimes I kind of also think about future lesson plans or just random thoughts while I draw. Sometimes I'll sing along to my music. Sometimes other teachers walk in and I'll talk to them a little bit. So I always remove the sound later and then just do a voiceover at home once I'm kind of all finished. It's a nice kind of peaceful time, and it gives me some time to reflect on my own process, which is partly why I'd encourage other people to do this, is you learn a little bit about yourself. Sometimes I record it in a couple bursts, but I always try to get it in one take if I can. When I first started, sometimes I would even do it in one take with the same audio from that time. Once I've finished recording, I store everything in Google Photos and download it to my computer, or sometimes I airdrop it from the iPad if I have footage from that. I use iMovie. It's simple, it's basic, it gets the job done. I don't need anything terribly fancy for this, so I just use iMovie. One of the first things I have to do is just kind of start splitting up my clips, or in this case, just one clip because I did it in one big take. And I split it by where I kind of zoom in and where the lighting changes. This helps me to white balance the different parts of the video and adjust for any lighting changes that happened while I was making the video, because lighting is extremely important when you're making an art tutorial so people can see what's going on really well. This part takes a little while, so I've sped this part up so you don't have to watch the entire process. But this also helps sometimes just when I'm recording the audio later to have different steps of the process split up. Sometimes I split clips and don't really make a lot of changes just so I have a marker. After that, it's time to white balance. I use an eyedropper tool to fix this. It's not always perfect on the first try, and I can manually adjust some of the features instead, but mostly I like the auto because it usually gets the job done pretty well. I have to white balance each part of the video a little differently because I zoom in and out, and that changes the lighting. Once my white balancing is all done, it's time to adjust the speed and add a title. I do the title the same way every time just to keep it consistent. And then, this is the long part. I have to go through the whole video and adjust the speed. So I'll often talk along with it and say the things that I'd like to say, and then any extra time that's in there is time that's either cut out or time that is just shortened. For this video, I didn't really remove anything from it, I think. I'm pretty sure I just kind of did a lot of speeding up of all of the different clips. So this is a sped up version of me speeding things up. You can see anything sped up has a little rabbit icon over it. So that really is most of the video. During this time, I also kind of talk through my voiceover, try to figure out my main points, and I usually do one big double checking at the end just to make sure I don't have any extra time. Because I don't want my video to be too long. I want people to pay attention to the whole thing, as much as possible. I don't leave a lot of time for random musings in my videos usually. I think I'd like to do that a little bit more in the future. Just not yet. Still figuring out the direction of where my voiceovers are going. Once I've finished all of the speeding up and slowing down and all of those adjustments, I'm ready to record my audio. I have a nicer microphone now than I used to, just to avoid having background noise and my laptop fan in there. I just wanted to improve my audio quality. But you'll notice it's on the floor. It's because my bedroom closet is actually the best place for me to record audio because it's not very echoey and it's nice and quiet in there. So I'll record my voiceover at the end in my closet. It's not fancy, but it really does get the job done. Anyway, once I'm done with that, it goes on YouTube and it's ready to watch. Thank you so much for watching and for checking out my behind the scenes video. I can't wait to make more videos for you. If you've ever thought about making a YouTube video, it's really fun and I think you should definitely give it a try.